How's it going, boys? Welcome back to Mogul Mail. In this video, we're going to talk about women. Stick around to the end because we're going to solve sexism in this video. Now, I haven't posted in a couple weeks because nothing's inspired me, but I saw a tweet from It's Timmy, the Apex Legends god and good friend of the stream, that said my clips were taken out of context in a video that invalidates and diminishes the experiences of women. And, you know, I was curious. So I clicked on the video and I watched what I can only call the Ocean's 8 of YouTube videos. Just a hot, stinking pile of garbage. And it is titled, How Feminist Ideas Make Everyone Weak. Now, we're going to go through a lot of this. You can see all the notes at the top and really dissect this video and why it has zero information. Now, the general idea of this video is responding to a BBC News video about women in esports and how the gender diversity isn't all there and how it's mostly weighted towards men and it's difficult for women in the space. I want to preface this by saying I think the BBC's piece is pretty shit. It's like every boomer news piece of media. It's surface level, it doesn't add a lot of value, and it's mostly a clickbait title for 45-year-olds to click on so BBC makes a bit of money. It's useless. But let's dive in because I think the points that this creator brings up are even worse than the original BBC video.
Research from esportsearnings.com shared exclusively with the BBC found that there are no female players in the top 100 all-time earners or the top 200. You have to go all the way down to 338th to trans player Scarlet to find a female player.
Crazy.
The next female top earner isn't until 680th.
I guess it's just like real sports. But seriously, do you want to know how I know this is just a grift and these media companies don't actually care about the fairness they're claiming to care about? Think back to all the times you've heard the term male-dominated field and ask yourself, have they ever once said, oh my god, this female-dominated field has no men in it. We need to change that in the name of equality. I haven't, and I watch this stuff for a living. There's a gender disparity in nursing, school teachers, and wedding planners.
Okay. Alrighty, off rip, this is an easy one. I Googled this. This took me about 15 minutes. People do talk about it quite often, actually. There's a big disparity in the amount of women nurses versus male nurses, which is a problem that they've been trying to address. Here's an NPR article about why more men don't get into the field of nursing, and it talks a lot about the gender stereotypes that prevent men from joining. Here's an article from a journal about nursing that said it's time to recruit more men. Here's a damn Supreme Court case. There's a Supreme Court case because someone tried to apply for a women's nursing school, got rejected because he was a man, and the Supreme Court overturned it because that is sexist. And of course, the amount of male nurses has tripled since the 70s because the efforts that people have gone in to increasing male nurses. So already a useless piece of information given out by the creator, but let's keep going.
According to games analyst Newzoo, nearly half the world's gamers are now female.
This must mean that 50% of high-ranking players should be women. Except wait, it turns out that when you specify what kind of games people play, women don't like to play the same types of games. So when you say 50% of gamers are female, you're talking about things like Candy Crush and Farmville, not games.
So he brings to the point that they say 50% of gamers are women. So, you know, 50% of the people who play it should be top players that are women. But it turns out that the 50% of the people who play the esports aren't women. 50% of the people who play Dota aren't women. And he even goes into this.
Earlier they said Dota 2, right? What percentage of women play that game? 20%. What about another popular competitive game like Fortnite? 27%. Higher than Dota, but you can still see that there are way more male players than females, so it statistically makes sense for almost all the top players to be male.
Okay, going through that logic for a moment, let's just draw on that string. If 20% of the players are female, then through his logic, 20% of the top players should be female, or at least a close enough number. The actual statistic, I looked this up, is 1 in 1,000. That's it. There is one woman in the top 1,000 highest earning Dota players. She earned $4,000. That is 0.1% compared to the 20% who make up the entire player base.
Especially when you're in an environment where it's winner take all.
And that doesn't even make any damn sense. You think the international's winner take all? Have you ever seen an esports tournament in your damn life? That'd be insane. You walk away with $40 million, and second place walks away with a thumb in their ass. It's usually like a 45%, 40%, maybe 50% if you're generous towards first place. And then the other 50% spread over to like the next usually 7 spots. That's how a tournament goes. So I don't think you've ever seen a damn esports tournament in your life, but fair enough. Let's go to the next point.
Marketing. There are certain things that men are naturally attracted to, and there are certain things that women are naturally attracted to. Good marketers figuring out what that stuff is, and then
Okay, he brings up a point that there's a natural attraction for men to be drawn to certain games like Call of Duty or Apex Legends. You know, the natural attraction, like when men are born, how they're all naturally interested in going onto an oil rig 3,000 miles into the middle of the ocean, like that innate feeling you have in your plums when you're born, or how men are naturally attracted to the color blue and women are naturally attracted to the color pink. Except wait, that's a new thing that marketers developed in the 20th and 19th century. You know, pink used to be the color for boys. This is true. You can look it up. They switched. There was even a quote from like a trade newspaper that said, the generally accepted rule is pink is for boy and blue is for girl. It's not natural. It's just what we have conditioned ourselves to like from what society is pushed, and then it gets reinforced through time. A natural joy of video games doesn't exist.
Back.
They think women are being put off because of a misogynistic and immature culture in grassroots gaming, something female gamers are increasingly highlighting online.
Why are guys so unoriginal with their smack talk on Call of Duty?
Go back to the dishes. I know a bunch of boomers wrote this, so BBC might not be aware of this, but for like 15 plus years, you've been able to mute players who say things you don't like.
Okay. This point blows my mind. He's right. You can mute players who harass you, but the main problem generally is that women get into every single lobby, and every single lobby is someone harassing them. So it's just nonstop, and then it ruins an entire play session. Now, I saw this article that blew my mind from Lenovo that said 59% of the surveyed women use non-gendered or male identity when playing games, just to avoid coming across as a woman so they won't get attacked. They've gone a step beyond muting. They've already figured this out. And in fact, you can see this entire series, which is funny in a terrible way, from a creator named Spontaneous, where she documents all the harassment she receives while playing a game. She started the series in 2018 and is still ongoing 4 years later. Let's just watch this clip.
Oh my god, you're terrible.
It's coming down, cool vibes.
Yeah, we didn't ask. We really didn't.
I want you guys to note, this is round one. Round one of a competitive game where muting obviously makes you less effective and less able to win a game. Communicating is the main function of winning any 5v5 tactical shooter.
Behind you! Behind you on stairs.
One friendly operator remaining.
Where is he?
He's right straight right. You know, behind that wall, right in, there you go, there you go. I'm surprised.
Okay. Insane to say I'm surprised. They go on to say some sexist shit, but look at the leaderboard real quick. Fucking hard carried 4 kills in the first round. Actually hard carried, and then this is what happens to Raft.
Mission successful.
I'm gonna have to f***ing carry their
Yeah,
god.
listen to her call, it's a woman. Alright, men, let's move in. This is a man's job.
Look, it just blows my mind that the takeaway is, hey, just mute, and not, hey, maybe people could just be like, I don't know, like a little less sexist, like a little less aggressive just because someone happens to be a woman, and maybe just respect them based off the quality of their gameplay. And this comment is echoed by this person.
Just on the day-to-day,
Cloud
like
9.
if you're a girl, you don't get the luxury of just having a bad game. It's like because you're a girl.
People are rude in video games. Women most affected. Allow me to poll the audience. Raise your hand right now if you've ever played an online game where someone said something mean to you. Everybody.
Yeah, but the difference is people say things mean to me based off me being shit at the game or saying something dumb, not just because when I talk, I have a voice that is a woman's voice. You know, it's a similar thing that kids deal with. I had a problem when I was young where I had a squeaker voice, and I would talk and I would get roasted because of my squeaker voice. It's like an intrinsic quality about me and not because I am dog shit at the video game. I am cool with people being mean because I am bad or do something dumb. I am not cool with people being mean because I have a trait that I cannot change about myself. And he goes on to quote a Pew Research article from 2014 and talks about how men actually deal with more harassment online.
Mean to you. Everybody raised their hand, right? This is not exclusive to women. Here's data from Pew Research about online harassment from 2014. Most of the categories are even. Look, it says here that men are 7% more likely to be harassed online than women are when you look at all types of harassment.
Okay, that's a 2014 article from Pew Research. Pew Research does this article often. I don't know why he went back to 2014. Again, this video was posted literally a couple months ago. They did a 2017 version and then a 2021 version. I looked it up, and it turns out that if you do the more recent one, the numbers have changed a bit, interestingly enough, and the amount of gendered harassment has increased from 20% to 33% among those who were harassed from 2017 to 2020. So it turns out that this is becoming more of a problem. Maybe we should look at newer stats. You can look right here that men are more likely to be harassed based on their political views, and women are more likely to be harassed based on their gender. That's the problem. That's what we're talking about. That's what the BBC is trying to note. Not just, raise your hand if someone said something mean to you once. And then he goes on this weird tirade. I'll let it play.
This is one of the fundamental differences between men and women that feminists don't get, because they think that men's words mean the same thing that women's words do. Men and women have different experiences, so in a lot of situations, their words and expressions mean different things. In these kinds of situations, I think that women tend to be more indirect and polite. So they'll say something nice, but really intend something mean, while men will say the worst possible things to each other and not mean it at all. It's a part of a game. Women who don't get that will think it's serious and take the commentary personally when it's more about playful banter.
Okay. First of all, none of that made any fucking sense. Look, 98% of rapes are done by men. 98% of mass murders are done by men. Some men mean it. That's just a fact. Men say the worst things and don't mean it. I don't think is any substance of a sentence at all. I think it's just an excuse to be like, let me say a couple of slurs in a Call of Duty lobby. Tee-hee. I don't know. I think I should be allowed to. I don't mean it. And that's the only value of that sentence. It doesn't make any damn sense.
Here's an example of that behavior on the stream of a professional Apex Legends player who goes by It's Timmy.
Now, he tries to back up the argument that men don't mean what they say by using this clip of Timmy in an Apex Legends game. He's on a Discord call with his friends. Just watch.
I killed one. He's low. Both on me. Blood's one. He's trying to thirst for armor. Nice. Beat him.
I can't do guys. He full killed you? What a bitch, bro.
See? He just laughs off the insult because it's not serious.
He laughs off the insult because it was directed to someone who couldn't hear the insult. They were privately talking in a Discord and mad because he got thirsted. This wasn't an insult directed at someone. It's just the dumbest example possible. You could have used a clip of someone directly calling a girl and then Timmy laughing at it. But here's the thing, that doesn't exist because Timmy wouldn't stand for that.
And it's fun because it gives guys a chance to say all the things that we aren't allowed to say everywhere else, which is why I don't appreciate companies like the BBC and Vice using this fake news to further censor male spaces.
If you want to say the N-word in your basement, you can do it. No one's going to fucking know. I don't know why this is an argument that we should be able to say the mean shit that we inherently want to say because we're men. We want to say mean shit, but we don't mean it. But we need to fucking say it because we need a release because we feel it in our plums.
Men aren't going around trying to change the culture of female spaces, so please stop doing it to ours. Feminists have destroyed so many male spaces that we can't even have the Boy Scouts.
Now, I love this point, the Boy Scouts point, because here's what happened. The Boy Scouts rebranded to BSA, which stands for, by the way, Boy Scouts of America. Here are the subsequent things that followed after that change. The Mormons, who were one of the largest donors to the Boy Scouts, left because they were so upset about it because it didn't have the word boys in it. They didn't make enough money. They filed for bankruptcy. In their bankruptcy filing, they admitted that over 92,000 former Scouts had been sexually abused by members of the organization. Oh no, we lost our male space. What's going to happen to the future boys who won't be able to get sexually abused? This is such an L. Let's go back to boys like the good old days when we could do harassment for free. What a terrible, terrible example. He then goes on to use It's Timmy and another example, specifically where It's Timmy de-escalates a situation and talks about how this is how women should de-escalate situations. Now, they have zero bearing on each other. Timmy isn't dealing with any gendered insults or anything. It's just someone who's mad that he got free kills, but I'll let it play.
Okay. Stop.
That was It's Timmy again, a professional Apex Legends streamer and competitor, as in someone who is actually good at the game, and that's how he handles toxic players. He doesn't scream back at them and yell at them like that girl did. What happened was they were playing a ranked game, and the Bloodhound guy who was mad got killed first. The other team realized they were fighting a famous streamer and gave him 3 free kills. Timmy's teammate who died is pissed because Timmy just got a bunch of points for those kills, whereas the guy who died got nothing. Despite the guy's behavior, Timmy tried to de-escalate the situation by saying stop calmly and assertively. He didn't yell at him like the other girl did, and he even revived the disgruntled teammate as a sign of good faith after the abusive commentary.
Easy, by the way. Women, if you haven't already figured it out, this is one way. Just say stop, and then all men will stop. Now, this is obviously a dumb point, but I don't need to tell you guys that. I can look at It's Timmy, who did all of that by saying, I do not agree with any of the ideals portrayed in this video at all and believe we as a community should do better. Now, the guy who made this video is like gold in Apex Legends and looks up to Timmy because he went from bronze to predator. And I want you to know, man, Timmy doesn't give a fuck about you and probably thinks you're a piece of shit for your ideas. I wouldn't use him as examples because I don't think he's on your side, brother. Now, let's go to the next point.
Because there's no existing support there, a lot of female gamers don't want to go pro. Genji has been making strong efforts towards building a program of female gamers. Develop them, find coaches, coach up these female talent, scout them out, and then really just make it worth their while to be the nail that sticks out.
Why does it need to be a program of female gamers? Why can't it just be a program of the best players?
They have that. What a useless point. They have both. Genji has a Valorant team, the normal Valorant team with the best 5 players, nothing special, and it turns out they're kind of fucking dog shit. And they also have a women's Valorant team that's totally separate, that tries to support women to make it more normalized in the space. They're also fucking dog shit. Shout out to Genji. Both teams suck, but they have both. So a moot point altogether. Next point. In this point's kind of weird. The whole second half of the video is about a 15-minute saga of the creator talking about this esports player named Maddie and how she would be better if she was more like Mr. Beast. Now, I don't want to play it. There's actually like 4 different Mr. Beast clips, and it's basically saying that she should train for more hours and try harder. I'll play one clip.
Once they get to this part of the show, another reason why Madison isn't doing well becomes apparent. Her coach sucks.
They've been practicing for months, so once we're here, my strategy is more to just make sure they're comfortable, go get them, an energy drink, some water, just really do everything outside of the game so they can focus on just the game.
Yeah, it's fucking Fortnite, bro. What do you expect? It's one of the worst esports. It's basically RNG half the time, and yeah, it's more of a meme when it comes to esports than something like a Valorant or a CSGO.
No, that's not your job. And if you think it is, then you're an assistant, not a coach.
Fair enough, but also weird tangent to go on for 15 minutes. Maddie even saw this and posted, I'm dying rewatching the video. There's no way this dude takes my portion of a documentary out of context. Who the fuck wouldn't be pissed by not being able to play all 10 of their games because of power outage in a row? What the fuck? I was 2 points away. Yeah, she was basically 2 points away from qualifying. Her row of TVs and monitors shut off, so she couldn't play out her game and then didn't qualify. And his logic to that was try harder and be more like Mr. Beast, which has about as much value as me saying, Jimmy Butler, you should maybe just shoot more 3-pointers in practice and try a little bit harder and maybe spend a few more hours, and then maybe you wouldn't have missed this shot in Game 7 against the Celtics. You just didn't want it enough, unlike Mr. Beast, who does want it enough. Maybe next year, who knows? Now, look, that's about all the substance of this video, and it brings a good point up, which is that 600,000 people believe that this is accurate, and there are a lot of weird, forced ways that people try to include women in the space. But I think the best way comes from Dr. K. And I think this is how I personally would try to address anytime I see someone who's being sexist in a lobby or just fucking harassing someone. And I'll let Dr. K take it away.
Is toxic towards a woman, you don't have to attack them. You don't have to defend. You got to say, hey, man, you think you can cool it a little bit? Like, do you really think what you're doing is decent? And then what do? They start calling you a simp. Fine. You let them. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to do any of that shit. You don't have to show them you're right. That's all you say, like, hey, man, can you lay off? And then if he keeps going, you can apologize to the woman. You can say, hey, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. Sounds like it sucks. I can only imagine. If there's something I can do, let me know. That's all you got to say. 30 seconds of speech, and then he can get mad at you. Why does he get mad at you? Because you're fucking right. Does that solve the problem? No. In the next game, there needs to be someone else like you. And in the next game, there needs to be someone else like you. And I guarantee you that if that person plays 10 games in a row where there's a single person that's like, hey, man, why don't you lay off? They're going to shut the fuck up on game 11. They're not even going to do it. You're not going to convince them of anything.
And that is about as well as you can put it. Shout out to Dr. K. Anyway, just wanted to talk about that because I thought that video was just incredibly dumb, but it's even dumber how much attention in likes in respect that it got. So in conclusion, lay off. See you later, boys.